Still got a cold. Don't feel so hot. Okay, let's go straight into this article, authored by Max Slavo at shtfplan.com. Pretty sure that means shit hits the fan plan.com. SHTF plan. It says here, a NASA scientist has said that aliens may have already visited the Earth. Silvano P. Colombano claims that these alien life forms may have gone unnoticed by humans due to their extremely small size. Colombano says that the extraterrestrial beings would have looked quite a bit different than the carbon-based organisms currently roaming our planet. That's us, mammals and shit, and insects, all carbon-based. He also states that any visitors, past, present, or future, could easily be missed because of their tiny size. These super-intelligent, interstellar traveling aliens could possess technology that humans cannot even comprehend at this point. And we have another victory on the skinny base. Let's get back to the article as we play a bit of CPU defend. I'm almost back to the million. I think I need about 10 million to upgrade all my structures. So there's that. Quote, considering further that technological development in our civilization started only about 10,000 years ago, and that has seen the rise of scientific methodologies only in the past 500 years, we could surmise that we might have a real problem in predicting technological evolution even for the next 1,000 of years. Yeah, another 10,000 years into the future, 12,000 after the Common Era, or Anno Domini, as we used to say. We should give that to the Christians. They named it. Let's see. Daily Mail further reported that Dr. Colombano told California SETI Research Workshop that scientists need to broaden their idea of what an extraterrestrial would potentially look like. Quote, I simply want to point out the fact that the intelligence we find is that it might us, if it hasn't already, might not be at all produced by carbon-based organisms like us. He added that scientists must revisit even our most cherished assumptions, which has implications for everything from an alien's lifespan to its height. The size of the explorer might be that of an extremely tiny super-intelligent entity. Let's handle this guy first. Okay. Maybe pay a bit more attention. Oh man, this alien shit. Let's check it out. Colombano says that humans' limited ideas of what another planet with life would look like, or would be like, could be restricting our ability to locate intelligent life outside of Earth. For example, a silicone-based life form, which is likely, a silicone-based life form would likely not look anything like the pictures of the carbon-based entities in our heads of a typical alien being. Welcome to the show. Drop a comment. He also explained that not every single UFO can be explained. So the short version of that is, NASA scientists said that aliens may have already visited the Earth, but they've gone unnoticed due to their extremely small size. Colombano says that the extraterrestrial beings would have looked quite a bit different than the carbon-based organisms. We could surmise that we might have a real problem in predicting technological evolution even for the next 1,000 years, because we've had a scientific revolution for the last 500, and look where we're at now. That's probable. He said that scientists need to broaden their idea of what an extraterrestrial would look like. He added that scientists must revisit even our most cherished assumptions, which has implications for everything from an alien's lifespan to its height and the current wave. Oh, that's nice. That will do. There you go. Colombano says that humans' limited ideas of what another planet with life would look like could be restricting our ability to locate intelligent life outside of Earth. For example, a silicone-based life form would likely not look like anything like the pictures of the carbon-based life forms that we think of. So, yeah, that's probable. Carbon is not the only thing you could make molecules out of. You could do it with silicone. I don't mean the silicone that goes into the porn actress's titty. The silicone that goes into computer chips is what we're talking about. So I'm going to get a bit more serious right now. We have a definite censorship problem coming. And the situation in China at the moment reminds me a lot of 1984, which is a book by Mr. Orwell. He also wrote Animal Farm. Excellent book. He's a very important author. And he made a book called 1984, where you can be convicted of thought crime. You can be jailed for the things you think. That's pretty fucking scary. So the elite, which I always wonder what exactly does this guy mean when he says that. Article by Michael Snyder. The elite are creating an authoritarian beast system, and dissenters could lose everything. So if you go against the thoughts of the government, you could be held criminally liable. They, I wonder of course, who are they? What does he mean, they? They are transformed into the greatest tool of surveillance that humanity has ever seen. And if we stay on the road that we are currently on, it's only a matter of time until our society becomes a hellish dystopian nightmare. Now, dystopian is the opposite of utopian. Utopian basically means, in Latin, a non-existent place. Because there'll never be a utopia. That's a myth. But dystopia, that's definitely possible. Look at North Korea. I still think that maybe the CIA thought, like, okay, here's this book, 1984, by George Orwell. Let's see if we can make that happen in North Korea. Or maybe it was the communists. Probably the communists. Now, I wish that this was an exaggeration, but it isn't. Over the past couple of decades, my monitor went out again. Not the TV. The TV is okay. Computer monitors bucked. Excuse me. God damn it. Let's see if I can get that to work. Yeah, I switched up the Rocketeers. I put one kernel in there in the tents. This means you have an extra kernel over here, and one coming out, and over here. So far so good. Wave 10. Let it crash into the base. Don't have enough firepower outside of the base to help. Here comes the kernel. Might need some more rocket guys to come out before that's effective. Anyway, this is good. Damn, that hole works both ways. God damn. Is 4 rockets enough? 4 rockets apparently is enough. As long as these tank traps survive, a new kernel will take its place. Okay, I think I got a bit of more stable monitor right now. So let's continue with the article. Over the past couple of decades, the internet has completely changed the way we all communicate. At one time, all forms of mass communications were tightly controlled by the elite. Here's that word again. What does that mean? But the internet suddenly allowed us to communicate with one another on a massive scale without having to go through their gatekeepers. Yeah, this looks like Operation Mockingbird, where the intelligence services have infiltrated the news business. One of the most fake news stories ever is that the Americans invented AIDS to kill Africans. That's bullshit. Pretty sure AIDS was caused by fucking too many monkeys or eating too many monkeys. Stop fucking the monkeys, guys. Don't do it. I'm serious. Right. This radically altered the landscape, and at first the elite, there's that word again, were unsure of how to respond to this growing threat. There's no internet, and so they have decided to use it for their own insidious purposes instead. Today the internet has become the centerpiece of their Big Brother surveillance grid. Big Brother is a reference to that book, 1984. There's also a movie. Check it out. It's not a very happy movie, but it's important. Today, internet has become a big brother, and they are gathering information on all of us on a scale that has never been seen before in all of human history. I can attest to that. I downloaded a couple of movies. One was the Queen rock band biopic about Eddie Murphy. No, Freddie Mercury. I'm gonna do a face swap. Eddie Murphy and Freddie Mercury. And all of a sudden, I'm not using Google anymore, but my YouTube results were all pointing to Freddie Mercury, which is weird. Then I watched an entire season of Westworld, and one of the actors in that series is also now prominently featured in my YouTube. But I never searched for this. I just clicked on the title and watched it with my video player. Hang on. No. It's keylogger, because when I look for the torrent on a website, you have to type in the name of the torrent. So Google is using a keylogger to monitor what you type in on every site. I know what to do now. Just stop using Chrome and use Opera. So if you use Chrome, Google will track all of your search queries, not just on the search engine, but on every website you visit. Well, well, well. They're gathering information on a scale that's never been seen. But of course, it was never going to stop there. Over the past couple of years, we have started to watch the elite, there's that word again, use all of its information to punish those that are doing things, saying things they do not like. Yeah, like Alex Jones and Louis C.K. was framed. I mean, not framed. He actually did jack off in front of some women, but yeah. I haven't done that yet, but pretty sure that somewhere in my life I'll be jacking off in front of a woman. I'm gonna ask if it's okay. That's what he did. And if she says yes, I'm probably gonna do it. Okay. Show me the tickets. Anyway, perhaps the most extreme example of this phenomenon is what's going on in China. Following comes from BuzzFeed. Chinese journalist Li Qiu always knew he'd have trouble with the authorities. He had been exposing corruption and wrongdoing for years. He was used to being hassled with regular fines and forced apologies imposed by his authoritarian government. He nevertheless persisted in truth-telling. One day in 2017, Hu logged onto a travel site but couldn't book a flight because the site had said he was not qualified. Soon he discovered he was blocked from buying property using the high-speed train network, or getting a loan. And that's a social credit score. There's an episode of Black Mirror you should watch. It's called Nosedive. Just look for the episode called Nosedive of Black Mirror, and you will get an awesome little dystopian future. You can't get a loan, there's nothing you can do about it. His rights to essential goods and services were now circumscribed through an algorithm designed to discriminate against the 7.5 million people on China's dishonest persons subject to enforcement list. Wow, so now they don't only have fake news, they're making fake people. It's not really a person. This is why I stand with the empire against the monoculture, the monotheists, the totalitarians. Empire is always preferable over totalitarianism. Capitalism is not a great system, but it gets people out of poverty, and communism puts everybody in poverty. And the problem with communism and totalitarian left-leaning ideologies is they start killing their own by trying to be holier than the next guy, not necessarily in a religious sense, but in a doctrinal sense. So I'm more of a communist than you are. That's what they start doing, and they spy on each other and they kill each other, which I guess is not as bad as with the radical right, which kills the other guys. Anybody that's not your sex, your gender, your ethnicity, your religion, that's who they kill. That's even worse. At least the commies had a good sense to just kill each other. Everybody could be a communist, except your neighbor. He wasn't a good communist because you have to be the best communist. So fuck that. Fuck that, man. In China, they call it a social credit score, but in reality, it's a nightmarish authoritarianism at its worst. And this is why people are afraid of global government. Because who do you think would be the policeman of the global government? It would be the Chinese. There'd be a Chinese communist guy in every fucking street. That's the most ruthless, disciplined army there is. And that's the most logical choice. So, no thanks. They are monitoring all that their citizens do and think. Their political opinions, their shopping patterns. Isn't that what Facebook does? Their travel history, their internet behavior, etc. And if they upset the beast system, that they could ultimately lose access to everything. Put yourself in that shoe. Holy smokes. I haven't been on Facebook in 4 months. I've never been happier. Just imagine a world in which you will no longer be able to buy, sell, open a bank account, get a loan, use public transportation, or get a job. Putting up surveillance camera in schools so that they can constantly monitor students. Here, the surveillance cameras took the data on individual facial expressions and used that information to create a running score on each student and class. Wow, so you have to be happy at school all the time? Wow. If a score reached a predetermined point, the system triggered an alert. Teachers were expected to take action to talk to a student perceived to be disengaged, for example, or overly moody. So you cannot be sad in school anymore. What the hell? You would think that the Chinese would rebel against such a system, but most are already too fearful to say anything about it. Yes, people, that is the worst form of censorship. It's self-censorship. It's when I say holy smokes instead of holy fuck or holy shit. Holy shit, man. And some are actually embracing the new system. In Beijing and throughout China, closed-circuit cameras and other surveillance devices are so ubiquitous, that means all present, they're all over the place, that they've become part of the landscape. If facial recognition helps with public safety, some say that's a good thing. So you have to be smiling when you walk on the street. Perhaps people would behave themselves more, for a quotation by Chia Tuxi, a 19-year-old student interviewed in Beijing. But we would never allow such a thing to happen here in the United States, right? Or in Europe, right? Wrong. Well, not yet as advanced as the Chinese have done. Our own version of the system is expanding with each passing day. If you use the internet, the technocratic elite, there's that word again. I think he's trying to implicate people that the new techs because they have a liberal slant. So companies like Facebook, Amazon, and Apple, they kind of have left leanings to the liberal left. So this is an attack on them. This again was probably written, yeah, it's by an American. Let's check who wrote this. Michael Snyder. You almost can't have a more American name than that. Let's see, where was I? If you use the internet, the technocratic elite know eventually everything about you. And as we have seen so frequently in recent months, they also have the power to deplatform those that they do not like. That's where Alex Jones comes in. I think Alex Jones is amazing. He's one of the best comedians out there. They shouldn't take him that seriously. But yeah, that's censorship right there. Independent media readers are well aware of the multitude of ways big tech and social media platforms have been censoring conservatives from demonetizing video channels to blocking, banning, and shadow banning conservatives. Shadow banning is where you just don't, you can't log on anymore, but they didn't warn you. That's what that is. To limiting the reach of promotions and by tweaking algorithms so that search results push independent media sites so far down that they can rarely be found. Dude, wave 20. I wasn't even really paying attention. Alright then. And restricting buying and selling is starting to happen too. In fact, we have seen numerous online payment platforms ban individuals and organizations that hold extreme views recently. A good example there is where PayPal and all those money transactionary sites are no longer accepting donations to WikiLeaks. Come on, this monitor is dying. I'm going to switch back to my laptop. Over time, hang on. Over time, the information that the elite, here it is again. Over time, the information have about all of us will continue to grow as a desire to punish those that think or act offensively. Me truly, yours truly, that'd be me. Fuck the Nazis and fuck the commies. But in the process of creating a utopia, they will actually be creating an authoritarian nightmare. Quote, social media is arguably the greatest accomplishment. Let's get some tea in my face. I hope I get better, man. This cold is kicking my ass. Social media is arguably the greatest accomplishment thus far of the deep state. Oh my god, deep state. The government is the same as the people, man. There are people in government. Just ordinary people. Accomplishments are social media, New World Order. Okay. For one, it allows for the various ministries of propaganda around the world to project their official narrative without impediment using authoritarian censorship tactics. It also creates a virtual echo chamber of leftism and extreme rightism. You didn't mention that. That once all the conservatives are finally removed from all the tech platforms, will create the online liberal utopia that the social engineers are striving to achieve. We live at a time when political correctness has become institutionalized. One wrong opinion and that you can lose a social media account that you have spent years building up, and one wrong statement can cost you a career that you spent years training for. Yeah, I've been causing a stink at YouTube for trying to monetize one of the ads, one of my videos. You might just want to look into what I've been saying over the years. And they'd be like, "Yo, Kravens, man, look at the terms and services. Your content is not suitable for children." Yeah, that's okay. It's also not suitable for advertisement. That's why I say this shit. I'm using my freedom of speech while I still have it. One wrong opinion and you lose your account. Ultimately, we are heading down the exact same path that China has gone. Their social credit score system is being hailed as the next great thing all over the world. And those that hate freedom of speech can't wait to fully implement such a system in the Western world. Let's go to the comments. I love reading the comments on this website. They're amazing. Yeah. Okay. Regional Indian says, once data is the heroin everyone needs the most, and with virtual reality it will be, all your dopamine will be available there, as will virtual sex, games and the like. Then the mark of the beast, 666 is the mark of the beast, will be truly rolled out. No mark and you cannot meet sexy Susie in virtual reality room. True tyranny is what was done in the opium wars with China, I agree. Now, at least in this case, it's a curious mix of Huxley and Orwell. Big Brother has your goodies and will ask you for some nail polishing before you get your some. All addictions are habits, though. Data is an addiction. Okay. I know about addiction, man. For those roused by the spirit of 76 and the glorious cause of human liberty, sentiment spoke long ago. This is a quote by St. John's Church. Quote, a life so dear or peace or sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery, forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. It's got a point. Hey, Mr. Machine Gunner. Actually, going for a quick intervention is probably not a good move here. Just let them. They're not getting anywhere. Oh, they're taken down by sniper tower though. So I haven't been checking my own comments. Let's go to the stream. I bookmarked my subscriptions feed. So go to YouTube, click on subscriptions, and then make a bookmark out of that, so you won't be confronted with all their recommended videos, which you probably don't want to watch anyway. And go straight to your subscriptions page. Great tip, something I checked out. So I reduced my rocket guys to 2 tents. I have 4 rocket guys in the back. Apparently that's enough. This allows me to have a couple more colonels and to have a colonel walking out of the base. Sometimes together with 1 or 2 rocket launchers approaching, or this guy, they make for a good effort. Plus I have one over here, which is nice. I need to tweak that guy. I need to move everything up a bit, so... Hang on. No, I know what I need to do. I need to hold this back a bit. Yeah. Let's do that before I forget. All right, this is end of the broadcast, end of the podcast. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.